If you hood educated, I'm glad you made it. Allow me to unfold my knowledge, wisdom, and understanding from a hood brother's point of view to all of you, here, there, and everywhere. Now check me out.
Tamar McIntyre, known for his stage name Tay-K 47, sat quietly in the courtroom as his case was awaiting to be called up. McIntyre, already convicted of murder in Tarrant County and sentenced to 55 years in prison, has been awaiting trial in the April 2017 capital murder of Mark Anthony Saldivar. According to an arrest affidavit, Saldivar was robbed of his camera equipment and fatally shot in the Chick-fil-A parking lot across from North Star Mall. At the time, McIntyre was on the run after cutting his GPS monitor while out on bond awaiting trial. McIntyre was later caught in New Jersey. But while on the run, he released a song called The Race. The music video on YouTube has more than 360 million views, and the song ended up on the Billboard Hot 100. In it, he posed in front of his wanted poster. Because of that video, his attorneys had a concern about the size of the jury pool.
The nature of the case involves a music video, and that music video is very famous and well known, so we may need a little bit more than the average pool because people are familiar and informed an opinion.
A jury pool of 200 people are now expected to be called in on February 7th and testimony to begin on February.
So you mean to tell me that this young boy right here at the age of 16, 17 is running around killing people? Cold-blooded murders. Now, in the first case, right? In the first case where he got the 55 years, he telling the judge and telling everybody that, hey, it was supposed to be a robbery. It wasn't supposed to be a murder. It was a robbery, right? It was a home invasion. We were supposed to go in there and just take his stuff and then just leave. But one of his homeboys got trigger happy and they killed the man. Nah, you was there. You participated. That's what you young brothers and sisters, you gotta understand that just because you play a minute role in a murder, it don't matter. You getting charged with murder. So you young brothers and you young sisters, y'all need to understand that. Because I know a lot of girls, they just figure like, well, I'm just gonna drive up to, I'm gonna drive y'all to the scene to go rob somebody. A lot of brothers, hey, I'm just gonna be on the lookout while y'all up in there robbing the dude. All that right there would get you charged with murder if they go in there during the robbery and kill somebody. You get charged with murder. You can cry all day long. No, I just drove them to the... No, it don't work like that. I was just looking out. Yeah, okay, thank you for letting us know that. But we charging you with murder as well. Why? Because you played a role in it. You participated in it. Without your contributions, without you calling the police, the murder probably wouldn't have never happened. But being that you participated in it, they gonna hit you with murder too. So look, understand that. And a lot of you young brothers and sisters need to understand that, listen, y'all talking about y'all want to go rob somebody, y'all want to go commit these crimes. A lot of the times these crimes end in murder. Like he's saying right now, like Tay-K saying right now, it wasn't supposed to be a murder. It was supposed to be a robbery. That don't matter no more. Somebody died. Somebody was killed. That's what matter now. And you played a role in it. So for all you young brothers and sisters, especially you young sisters, because you get a little gang-banging boyfriend and he manipulates you. Nah, I need you to hold the gun and I need you to hide the gun and I need you to drive us. You wait in the alley in the car. We gonna run in here real quick. And you thinking to yourself, because if you don't know the law, you thinking like, I'm just driving. I'm just looking out. I ain't pulled no gun. I ain't did nothing. Yeah, all right. Tell that to the prosecutor and the judge and the jury when they, well, she drove him to the scene of the crime. She just as guilty under the laws. And this right here is universal. all throughout the United States of America. So he gets 55 years for that because of the aggravated robbery, the home invasion and all that. And they ran all that concurrent. But before he even went to trial for that, they let him out. When they got caught up on that home invasion murder, he got out on bond. Put him on a, what they call an ankle monitor. He cut the ankle monitor off, go on the run. And when he went on the run, he made this famous, I'm talking about this song right here is everybody, millions and millions of views. When he was on the run, he made a song that hit the billboards called The Race. Check it out. He commit another murder. Him and his homies called a photographer, a guy that take pictures. And they wanted him to take pictures for the album or for the video or whatever the case may be. They called the photographer, met up with him, got him in the car with them, and tried to take his camera. The photographer wasn't going for it. No, I'm not giving y'all my camera. He fighting with him for his camera. They finally get the camera from him. Look, he jumps on the car. He all on the hood of the car. As a matter of fact, I'm going to let her explain it to you. Check it out.
And Tamar took out his gun and pointed it at Mark and asked for his bag. Mark refused to give him the bag. So they all started hitting him. And Tamar was hitting him with the gun. And the whole time I didn't look back. But when I did, I saw his face. And I started telling them to let him go. And I just kept screaming, let him go. And Jalen opened the door and started pushing him out. And he was fighting to get back in the car. And then I didn't let him in the car. So he went around the car and he jumped on the hood. And then the light turned green.
Okay. Alright, I'm gonna stop you right there, okay?
Okay.
So, when you all were at the light on McCullough, you said Tamar produced his gun, correct?
Yes.
And who did Tamar have the gun pointed at?
Mark.
And what was Tamar saying when he had the gun pointed at Mark?
To give him his bag.
And so, once the light turned green, what happened?
He pointed the gun at me and told me to start driving. So I started driving. I didn't know where to go. So I turned into the first place that I saw, which was the Chick-fil-A. Once I turned into the Chick-fil-A, he kept yelling at me to get him off the car. I didn't know how to, so I was just going back and forth really quickly. And then Mark kicked the windshield and Tay-K opened the door and shot him.
Okay.
Now, what you just witnessed is Tay-K's girlfriend. Yeah, young boys and girls. Yeah. Your girlfriend will get on the stand and testify against you when it comes to that murder stuff. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. That's what can happen. Your girlfriend will get on the stand and testify against you. So here it is. She testifying against him. She giving them full details of what happened. And so now he catches another murder while he's on the run. Now he gets caught for being on the run, and then they learn about this other murder. And this one they gave him the 80 years. Check it out.
Last few minutes, a jury has decided the punishment for a Texas rapper. Right now, our camera is in the 187th courtroom where rapper Tay-K was just sentenced to 80 years in prison after being found guilty of murder yesterday. A Bexar County jury found the rapper guilty of murder, not capital murder, in the 2017 deadly shooting death of Mark Anthony Saldivar. The rapper was previously convicted in the killing of a man in Tarrant County in 2016, where he received a 55-year prison sentence. Now, these two sentences will run at the same time. Again, this is a live look inside the courtroom. Victim impact statements, we're told, are next. An advocate will read a statement from the victim's mother. Again, Tay-K was just sentenced to 80 years in prison. We'll, of course, have the full updates at kins5.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's my understanding that you've reached a verdict in this case. Is that correct?
Yes.
And is that verdict unanimous?
Yes.
All right, if you will give the verdict form to Deputy Laura, please. Thank you. All right, if the defendant could please stand. We, the jury, find the defendant, Tamar McIntyre, not guilty of the offense of capital murder. What did I, excuse me, no. No, out of the courtroom. Out of the courtroom now.
Yes.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you don't ignore that. Sometimes, as you can tell, people are invested, correct? So it says, we, the jury, find the defendant, Tamar McIntyre, not guilty of the offense of capital murder as charged in the indictment. We, the jury, find the defendant, Tamar McIntyre, guilty of the lesser included offense of murder. Does anyone wish to have the jury polled?
Not the state, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, and do you want them polled as to both counts?
As to the count of conviction, Your Honor.
All right, you may be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, McIntyre, the jury found you guilty of murder. Your punishment is to be assessed at 80 years in the prison.
So here it is. We got 55 years on top of 80. Do we even need to add all that up? I mean, really, do we really need to? I mean, because come on now. 55 and 80? But the cold-blooded part about this whole ordeal is that this boy was a child. He was 16, 17 when he was committing these murders. Now, from my understanding, y'all can jump in the comments and y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. But from my understanding, it was a United States Supreme Court case that said if you are a teenager and you commit a murder, they can give you however much time they want to give you, but you get parole at 30 years. That's just automatic. Don't mean that you finna get out though, but you're eligible for parole in 30 years. So just for the sake of that argument right there, he got 55. He get parole in 30. He got 80. He get parole in 30. That's 60 years. 60. Only if they ran it consecutively. But they ran his sentences concurrent. So that means that everything is all put together. And the large sentence eats up the smaller sentence. So the 80 years eats up the 55 years, right? And I don't know about, like I say, y'all can correct me if I'm wrong about this right here. But from my understanding, if you are a teenager and you commit a murder, after 30 years, you are eligible for parole. So he should be eligible for some type of parole. That's if in his 30 years, he don't be in there stabbing people. He don't be in there doing drugs. He doing all the regular programs. He find God and all that old type of stuff. Because in 30 years, he gonna have to do something. But if he go to the penitentiary and he get the acting a fool in there, when his parole come, they gonna be like, nah, you was in here doing this. You ain't trying to do no type of, you ain't trying to get yourself back together. You're not trying to be a product or, a citizen of society or none of that. Nah, you gonna have to sit up in here some more years. Come back and see us in about 5-10 years or something like that. And they can keep doing him like that until his sentence expires. But like I say, I don't know how the law is in Texas. And again, just to clarify everything, I heard or I can remember it being a United States Supreme Court case talking about teenagers and the murder. And the reason why, because they said that, when you're a teenager, your brain ain't even fully developed yet. So you really don't understand what you're doing. You just reckless and you just wild. So y'all get in the comments and y'all correct me if I'm wrong. I know I got some hood educated residents that are lawyers. Y'all get in here and, set the record straight. But before I depart, allow me to say this right here. A lot of kids and teenagers are infatuated with this gang lifestyle and with this street lifestyle. A lot of kids are influenced by this gang lifestyle and this street lifestyle. They are so infatuated and influenced by this lifestyle that it allows them to join. You understand? They join these gangs. They start partaking in the street lifestyle. Why? Because the influence is so strong. Now, I can see some of y'all right now. Hold on, hood educated, man. Don't be putting my son or my daughter involved. My kids, they ain't gonna be influenced by that stuff. They ain't gonna this right here. Let me tell y'all something. You gotta understand something. All gang bangers and killers and street guys and all that old type of stuff, they was good kids at one point. You see, we don't come out the womb gang banging and selling dope and being pimps and hoes and all that old type of stuff. All this stuff right here comes from influence. All this stuff right here comes from infatuation. And listen, the kids that we have right now that's growing up, or some of the kids, let me say this, some of the kids that grew up to be killers and stuff like that, do you think they mother and father looked at their child and said, hey, you know what, this boy right here finna be a gang banging killer. This boy right here finna be the coldest pimp that ever, no. This boy right here finna sell more drugs than a little bit. No, they didn't say that because don't nobody know that. All this stuff comes later on in life. Influence. Infatuation. And I'm telling y'all, that stuff is so powerful, it's hard to shake. For an example, like everything that we do right now comes from some type of influence. Everything. I'm talking about everything that we do right now. We seen somebody do it, we heard somebody do it, and wait a minute, that look kind of, let me check it out. That's what's going on with our children. Now, understand something. There's nothing wrong with influence, and what I mean by that is there's nothing wrong with the right influence. But the wrong influence, yeah, that's where the problems lie at. That's where we're going to have our problems. And that's what we're going to have to correct when we see our children being infatuated, when we see our children being influenced by the wrong influence. That's when we as parents, cousins, uncles, grandparents, whatever, whoever got love for these kids, when we see that wrong influence and we see our kids all in the picture, all that, you start seeing your kids on their Facebook taking them type of pictures and stuff like that, they done been influenced. Come here, hold on, wait. That's the wrong thing. I got to put you around some good influences. Right? Because the kids that are being influenced by the righteous influence, then you see them doing what the righteous people do. They going to school, they studying, they learning a trade. They always doing something that's right. You see what I'm saying? So it's up to us to help our kids and direct our kids to the righteous influence. Because when we see them going the wrong way and they start getting into that wrong influence, hey, hold on, come here. Let me break this down to you real quick. As a matter of fact, let me show you something. You see them boys on the corner? It used to be 25 of them up there. Now it ain't number 10. Where do you think the other 15 went to? You see what I'm saying? That's the things that we got to start doing for our children, for our loved ones. We got to start correcting them when they young. Don't let them get too old. It's going to be too late because they're going to be in too deep. We got to start correcting them when they young. Soon as we start seeing them. Hold on. What y'all just say? Blood, cuz, Lord, folks, what? Hold on, wait a minute. They friends. You ain't hanging with them. Them boys is in the gang. I know them boys in the gang. They got guns and everything. No, you can't hang with them. Even some of their family members, cousins and stuff like that, uncles and all that. I don't want you hanging around your uncle. I don't want you hanging around your cousin because they vice lords over there and they into it with the GDs, the BDs, the Crips, and the Bloods. You can't hang with them. We got to snatch them early. Because if we don't snatch them early, once that influence grab them, it's too strong. It ain't nothing you're going to be able to do. You're going to try to preach to them, talk to them. All my brothers over here, they vice lords. We love each other. We going to die together. We going to go to hell together. We going to go to jail together. They young in the mind. They really believe this stuff. So let's grab them when they're young. When we start seeing those negative influences, let's grab them. This is hood educated, not lame related. Peace and love, and y'all take care of yourself out there. If I said anything that caused you to think, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed already. And if you're feeling generous, please make a small donation to the channel. Peace and love.